What's up, you American Outlaws? Today I got a special treat to you. I'm
James Yeager.
That's it right there. The man himself, James Yeager. James has driven 14 hours to come visit with me. I appreciate it very much. Thank you. Extremely humbled.
No,
and I don't
great.
say that much.
No, that's great.
I cannot begin to tell you guys the amount of knowledge, not just about guns, but about life that James has, that he always shares with us. That's just, you can't recreate it, and it's amazing, so we appreciate you.
All right.
All right, here we go. So I have a question, James. I've heard it two ways, and I know it's popular both ways, and I think it has two different applications. But when can I put my finger on a trigger? Concealed carry in America, at what point in time do I put my finger on the trigger if there is a threat?
Mm-hmm. So, first things first. Drawing a gun and shooting a gun are two separate things. People think they're the same thing. And so when people add a trigger press to the end of their drawstroke, it goes pow, goes low. People say you can train out of that, blah, blah, blah. So, I mean, this is anyone. Drawing the gun and shooting the gun are separate things. Shooting the gun is not part of the drawstroke. I know it's in vogue. It has been for several decades for competition shooters to draw their pistol and finger on the trigger and the shot break as they extend, even before extension, which is fine for a competition. The problem is competition guys started training soldiers. Soldiers are now training civilians, and they're teaching civilians that. If we look at the statistics about how many times a armed citizen brings a gun out compared to how many times he shoots, it's way low. 1 out of 30 times is the number I hear used. And so that would be 29 people that didn't have to be shot. Even if it was justified, even if it was legal, there were 29 people that would have been shot, possibly killed, that didn't have to be. Because what happens when you point guns at people, they usually go, oh, I remember I have an appointment somewhere else, I'm going there.
No, I agree. So when I was in law enforcement, I can't tell you how many times I drew my weapon and never shot it, ever. What I've seen in America, I'm sure there's some circumstance that you can just make up in your head. But what I've seen is Americans are not an indigenous force that we're trying to fight that is, hey, we're there because it's a fight. Most Americans still think that authority or a gun comes out, they're going to stop. Mm-hmm. So a simple, my finger's still out, not on the trigger, put your gun down. Mm-hmm. Back away from me. Mm-hmm. It gives me the opportunity to not have my name blasted all over the news, to not have to get arrested.
Problem one, saving your own life. Problem two is everything else. I don't worry about problem two, the news and sued, and I don't worry about that one. I'm still on problem number one.
Okay, yeah, it makes sense. And so, I'm a believer of my finger is off the trigger until I've made up my mind to shoot that whatever that threat is.
Well, I'll just give you the counterpoint. The counterpoint is, well, that guy needs to be shot, so I've already made up my mind, so I'm going to put my finger on the trigger sooner. I tell you what this country needs a whole lot less of is putting our fingers on the triggers when we don't need to.
So something that I don't know if you guys know, and James will have seen a lot more of this, I studied several police shootings, and I have several friends that were in them, where as they drew the gun, they shot the ground.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
Shot the ground.
Happens frequently.
That's right. And so that's why it's really important not to flag yourself or somebody else. But so that's why if you were taking your, drawing and putting your finger on the trigger, you take a chance on firing when you didn't want to because you're scared and your adrenaline's going, and we don't have those same fine motor skills, and we're not really thinking about that. It's fast and it's violent. Mm-hmm. And so I just think that I'm still a component of finger off the trigger until you've drawn, you know that you're going to shoot that target, whatever it is, and you know you're going to save a life, and then fire.
Drawing and shooting are separate things.
Yeah, drawing and shooting are separate things. I think you can't tell yourself that enough. Drawing and shooting are separate things. So it's not a combination. And shooting targets is great, and the military has a completely different job than us. It's not the same. I appreciate that very much. I hope this helps you guys. I really appreciate it. So do me a favor, like, subscribe, hit the bell notifications. If you don't know who James is, I don't know how you don't. All right, guys. See you next time.